What's up, guys? You're here with Team Judgment. Jesse here, and I'm coming at you guys today with my Zoodiac Magician Pendulum deck profile. And like I know you guys are super excited to see it, because the Zoodiac deck. This deck is just so balanced and so good, right? All right, but anyway, back to reality here. And honestly, I'm playing the deck because I need something to do with all the cards I pull out of my Megatins. And I figured this deck would be a perfect fit. 40 card deck, so I didn't want to go over that. I wanted to keep it as 40 as possible, as consistent as possible. So without further ado, let's get right into my Zoo Pen deck. We've got triple Harmonizing Magician, probably the sort of your ace card for most of your combos outside of the Zoodiac. We've got the double Iris Magician. We got two purple Poison Magician and one white wing to round out our new Pendulum Magicians. Let's get into the reasons why we place things. I play one white wing because she's a tuner, and she's another low scale. I wouldn't, even if I did have three of these, I would play three of these. I would if I had the third one. But if I did play the third one, I wouldn't cut this, because it's a tuner, and I don't know why it's a win though. That's a weird thing about it, but it's a tuner, and yeah. So most times she's going to be summoned from the deck with Harmonizing Magician's effect, just because you can spam more tuners to make more big synchro plays. Next we play this guy because it searches out our sort of back row hate. We've got the Time Pendulum Graph card, which is really fucking busted. And the Trap card is really important because it's twofold. So obviously it's a scrap dragon. It pops things, it pops more things, and pops things if your things don't get popped. But in this sort of meta, when True Dracos are running rampant, we've got the trap protection for all of our lovely spellcaster monsters, and that's really important as well. Even if it wasn't there, most of our monsters get lovely effects when they get popped. So that's the reason we play that ratio. It's pretty standard, I think. I don't think there's any really much differentiating that. Next we play a triple Wisdom Eye because he brings all those guys out of the deck. One Oath Dragon because he livens up our Harmonizing Magician because she can't be Pendulum Summoned from the extra deck. And our Searchable Masterpiece out, or really any kind of out. It outs any monster. That's so we play Pendulum Call. Pendulum Call searches out any two scales, and it protects them for the turn, for a couple of turns. I think it's the end of the opponent's next turn. So you search this guy, and it can't be targeted by Masterpiece or destroyed by Masterpiece or things like that. So you can just pop Masterpiece without fear of him chaining his effects and popping your scale. We play the triple Skullcrobat Joker because Skullcrobat Joker searches out all of that. We play the Odd Eyes, Performing Power, Mini Taurus. Searchable scale through Brawl through this guy if you happen to want to do that to search him. But most importantly, he's a high scale, and we're not playing the big sevens, so this scale is fine for the deck. But a big thing is Wisdom Eye can actually use his effect if this guy's in your other scale, because Wisdom Eye isn't selfish, and he says I can use my effect if Performance Powers are in the same zone or the other scale. And that's really important to do because a lot of times using a lot of your resources and to be able to recur resources and still have some synergy on the field is A1 in this sort of deck. And then we've got Lesser Pendulum, last but not least. I would say like one of the best Pendulum cards ever created. Now, not much so these days, but when he first came out along with Ignister, he was really, really fucking problematic. Also, he triggers a lot of our effects because he pops things and searches things, and he kind of fits the theme of the deck. He's just not a magician, but he is searchable through Dual Alliance. And also, before we go on, I don't play the Pendulum Sorcerer engine because I'm playing Zoodiacs instead. that sort of filled up the spot that I would have put that engine in. But on to our lovely Speak of the Devil. The Zoodiac engine played the 2-rat, 1 whiptail. I think this is like standard outside of pure builds or heavier zoo builds or whatever. So the reason you play, well, I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to move on. No one wants to hear about Zoodiacs. But you play them because they're important to the combo. Triple Big Bird, my favorite card in the entire deck, just because it's such a badass card. You don't get to use it very often. So, honestly, if I didn't have these cards, I probably wouldn't play the deck at all. Like, that's how much I like the card so much. And it's like, it's a big negate, and it's always fun to play. Last monster is Max C. Onto our spells, we play triple Dual Alliance, searches a lot of the important pieces of your combo. And after the deck, I want to talk about a cool, like, turn 1 thing you can do with the advent of Zoodiacs. So now you got Barrage, and Barrage does things. It synergizes with your deck, it pops your stuff, searches things, special summons things, and triggers effects of things that got popped. I should probably play like Magician, Pendulum, True Draco because all the contiguous cards. I'm just kidding, that's very cancerous. Start Pendulum Graph. It searches all your fucking spellcasters when your other effects trigger and they get popped and stuff. So it's very combo heavy, very synergistic. I like it a lot. Play double Pendulum Call. This is probably the only like card I would probably cut to 1. Or sometimes I think about cutting it completely because it's like opening it, you don't get the same feel that you used to get when you open it. You're like, wow, this card's really busted. Now when I open, I'm just like, wow, I'd rather this be anything else at this point because it sort of hinders your. It doesn't synergize well with the newer ones because they all get their effects when they're popped, and they can't be popped, and you're kind of like, what the fuck? Why is this? I wish that clause wasn't there. But then of course, I'd be kind of sad if it wasn't there when I wanted to go do things to out things. They had quick effects, so it's very like need based. But I wouldn't cut it. I wouldn't run 3. 3 is too much. 2 is probably fine, so you can like mid game it and be strong and stuff. And 1 is probably fine too, but 2 is probably a better mid game number. Next we play the double Pot of Desires. And before we get into anything, Pot of Desires is a fine card. You play Pot of Desires if you own it. I feel like people who hated the card, the neg 10, blah, blah, blah bullshit. What if you banished off your copies of a certain card? You play the card. Most people said that because they didn't own it or didn't want to spend the money to get it. Now that the Megatons are out, there's no excuse. You play the card because it's good. There's no, it's bad bullshit because it's not. It's actually really strong. You should play it. We play Raigeki because it's Raigeki, and our favorite card that's not Miss Valley Apex Avion is Time Pendulum Graph because it's a quick play. It's not quick play. It's supposed to be 2 pop things, Scrap Dragon-esque effect, and its continuous trap effect protects our spellcasters from the trap cards that play in Pendulum and Dracos. And True Dracos, you don't get popped by Return or Apocalypse, and your spellcasters wouldn't be half by Apocalypse's effect either. Things on the field can't be affected by Solemn Strike, but they have to be on the field, so that means Solemn Strike will be trying to negate the effects. No, you can't chain this card to the activation of Solemn Strike. What I'm saying is if it's on the field and a monster is like normal summon, like Skullcrobat Joker. I think this protects Skullcrobat Joker. Yeah, it says, wait. Never mind, I'm wrong. This says can't target. So never mind. Solemn Strike will still negate shit. It says can't target. But it's still really good. And you can get Apocalypse too, because it doesn't target either. But it's just still a really good card. Onto the extra deck. We've got Trident, Broad Bull, Chakanine, Borbo for our engine. We played 1 Time Star Magician, searches most of the deck, and it has that protection effect that combos well with this card, which never comes up because I never summon this thing ever. But it does come up if I would summon this guy. Tornado Dragon. Tornado Dragon's good as well because he can pop your stuff to trigger the effects if you're going first. Castel, sort of a staple. I guess no Emerald. Onto the synchros, we play Ignister, Void Ogre Dragon, Cypher Lord Omega, Beals, and Supreme King Dragon Crystal Wing, Clear Wing. So for those of you guys who don't know what this card does, when it's synchro summoned, I believe. Ding. Let's just read. If this card is synchro summon, you can destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. And that's why you play this card. And it requires a tuner and a non-tuner Dark Pendulum monster. And our links. One of each. Alright, cool. Now, let's get into that combo that I was talking about. You can do many different things with these cards, but this is kind of what I would do if I had this hand. There's a glare. I apologize. I don't know what else. Probably this guy. And this guy. So this is like, you know, of course, best case scenario. But these are all 3F, so it's relatively reasonable to say that you could open something like this. Not exactly this, but something like it. Like, maybe you won't have this. This isn't necessary. This is like optional. This is like I said, like turn 1 greatness right here. This is turn 1 excellence. You have this hand, you're just gonna do nutty things. And this is what you're gonna do. So you play Barrage, and you play your scale. So you set your scale up, and you dual alliance for. Fuck no, my card's terrible. Star Pendulum Graph, right? So you play your scale. This is your 5th spell trap zone, 4th, 3rd, and you have 2 more. So you play Wisdom Eye in your scale. Wisdom Eye effect for the guy, girl, I don't know what the gender is. We're not going to get into that. Purple Poison Magician, which triggers Star Pendulum Graph when a monster got destroyed. So then you search your Harmonizing Magician. Right, so now your hand is this, and these are your field. So next, you use the brush to pop Double Iris and summon Rapier. Oop, because that's fun. So you summon Rapier and discard and pitch Whiptail. I would probably pitch Ram Ram if I played Ram Ram, but since I'm trying to make it as least cancerous as possible, while still, you know, contributing to the cancer, I'm just gonna play the rats and the Whiptail. Then you've got double apparition effect to trigger, so now you have this in your hand. So you're probably thinking this is kind of weird because you can't pendulum summon. So like I said earlier, you do this because Zoodiacs are dumb, and you can just attach because the Whiptail, because you know Rapier is a douche monkey. Summon another rat from your deck because why the hell not, right? I just want to point out also that setting Whiptail is completely optional. You don't have to do that. You could save it so you can pop for this next turn. But this is just me doing things that I like to do. Is hopefully you'll be able to win next turn. You'll just OTK the shit out of them. So you played Chakanine, detach for Chakanine, summon a Whiptail. So this is kind of the difference. If you didn't dump Whiptail, you would play the Rapier instead. But since you just the Whiptail, still optional. You still don't have to do it, but I did it because why not, right? Broad Bull, attach Broad Bull, and search your, like I said, your searchable scale, which is really cool. Now, it mattered that I brought up you can play Wisdom Eye here. So you could have played Wisdom Eye at this phase of your turn as opposed to playing it in the beginning. Either way, you got what you needed to get, which was this. The Harmonizing. So like I said, this is your hand. You went from 5 cards to 4 cards in hand and a field full of stuff. This is your graveyard. Alright, so next you play the Perform Pile, blah blah blah, Minotauros. And then you Pendulum Summon. Just kidding. No, you don't. You get rid of these 2 fuckers first for your Mrs. Radiant. Or you can put it here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. You play Mrs. Radiant. So now you play your Pendulum Summon, right? So you summon. So this is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big Dumb Bird. That negates everything. That negates life. A card from hand, which is the card that spams more stuff. A card from extra deck, which is just there because it's a material for other stuff. And then her effect, special summon something from the deck when she's Pendulum Summon from the hand. This is always weird because I never know what to actually summon. It doesn't really matter. Actually, I messed up. I was supposed to make the Trident here, so take Whiptail off that spot. So you make Trident before you Pendulum Summon. So that's from the field, then you Pendulum Summon. So you summon this from your hand, and this from the extra, this from your hand, this from the extra deck, and it summons this here. This is just for more pops. You can pop more stuff. When you set your trap card, you set your trap, boop. And then you can just use these guys to sync for whatever. So, here's whatever. So this is like, you have no cards in hand. This is your turn 1 board. Most optimal that I've come up with. Turn 1 board. You got a pop. You got Whiptail to banish stuff if you happen to save her effect until the very, very end. Or you could cut one of these fuckers. Most likely this guy, I don't know. But cut something to play a Tiger Mortar. So you can play Tiger Mortar, then Trident, and then keep your Whiptail. But I probably would end up doing that. Cutting one of those guys to play Tiger Mortar. Or Hammer Kong. Doesn't matter. But this is your turn 1 board. You've got 2 things to target with your this thing. So the reason I play this guy is because I wanted to keep the scale for next turn instead of popping this and having 1 less and having to pray to top deck another scale if I wanted to keep going. But let's actually pretend like I did keep. I did put Tiger Mortar in, so that would be Tiger Mortar. Then you have to keep your Whiptail for battle phase. And then you have a negate, a pop, and a floating rat that adds things back from your graveyard when it gets destroyed. And 2 pops when they get popped by other things. So point goes, you flip that whenever necessary, and you get to trigger more things when that gets popped by this, and search more stuff and pop stuff, and that's your turn 1 board. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. There's a lot you can do with the deck. This is just probably my favorite combo to do. A lot of times I don't end up with that, but still, it's still pretty strong. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know if you guys are excited to get Pendulum, to get Zoodiac's banned. I know I am. I'm just playing them for the time being because I pulled most of this shit from the Megatons. But I digress. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Remember to like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Peace out, guys.